my clan, Sagittarian. Yes, I am. Welcome, welcome for your weekly reading. I have a fun deck to use this time. We're going to use the Lemurian Qi Vesta, which was brought through my teacher Almine. It's 4 decks of these cool wheels, and they're going to apply to your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being in this week. So there's 36 cards in each. It makes up 144, a sacred alchemical number and sequencing here for you. So Sagittarians, we're going to begin by shuffling the decks. Oh, I always ring the chime. Let's clear the deck this way. Clearing the decks, calling in Divine Spirit to please guide this reading for Sagittarians, to see the vision for what this week brings. It's like week and brings was turning into break. Maybe something is breaking for some of you. Maybe you're having a breakthrough. Let's see what we get here from the Qi Vesta on the physical plane for Sagittarians. What is something they need to know? What concept is breaking through that would be beneficial to work with? So these cards are focusing on unity concepts, both of those, helping us think more from a universal field, meaning like the crown chakra, the universal one field. It's very helpful in helping us integrate dualities and so forth and see the purpose of all things. So there's 2 cards here. We got the number 1 and number 18 of the Qi Vesta. So we will do 18 first since that's on top. 1 and an 8 is a 9, which is a completion number. And then the 1 is a beginning. So there is an end and a beginning. The end feels like it's first because the 18 came first, and its Lemurian is Nan Kaz Pretparaz Arksas. And it means trust, infallibility. Trust, infallibility. And here's the breakdown on that. Self-confidence comes from ego identification of smaller self. Self-trust comes from knowing our infallibility as the one life. It's a mighty concept for some. Some might say, one life? You think of that again, the unity field. If there's only like one of us here, I'm another you, we're all aspects of each other, the oneness. So self-trust comes from knowing our infallibility as the one life. Everything is working out perfectly, in other words. So trusting that is the physical step you need to do in order to realize the second card, I am home. I am home. So there may be some physical homes coming for some of you. This says, when the directions come home to the heart and linearity is no more, we become the door of everything. There's a great book called The Door of Everything. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's fantastic. I read it early on in my awakening process. So, when directions come home to the heart and linearity is no more, what the heck does that mean? Well, when you're coming back to the heart, to making decisions and living from the heart, okay? Linearity is referring to, oh, I'm thinking ahead to the future, this is going to happen, or I hope this happens, or I hope this doesn't happen, or, I'm worried about this, or this happened in the past and that's affecting me now, or it's crushing me now, or it's a problem now, or I'm worried about it repeating. This is linearity when you're referring to the past and the future. So when it becomes like that folds into the now and we're just like present in the heart, like what is the heart saying now? That's a total receptive stance for everything, like everything you ever wanted, right? And when we trust that, when we trust that in that present state we are connected to that oneness field, then our dreams can manifest, or like what we truly desire can become present, right? We become the door of everything. That's all possibility, right? Let's look at the mental field for Sagittarians. That really hits home with me. Sometimes as Sagittarians, we love to travel, we love to move around, we're the gypsies of the zodiac. It's hard to sometimes feel at home, or we think we're still looking for home. But home is actually wherever we are, wherever we feel at home in ourselves, then we find that we are home. Right? So for some of you, it's that. It's physically beginning to feel like I'm at home in myself. So that's a great mantra to use. I am at home in myself. I'm at home right now in myself. Try it. I can't hear you. Okay, now we get card 33 of the Qi Vesta, which is a mastery number. Looks like some lavender flowers, doesn't it? In black and white. I've got lavender here on my shoulder somewhere right here. It looks a lot like that. Live from expansion. That's not too hard for you, Sagittarian. Jupiter is your ruling planet, planet of expansion. The Lemurian is Letvi Bispa Ararut. Okay, the key to stepping off the moving wheel of linear time into the stillness of the one life is to release concepts of relationship through the understanding that there's only one being. Again, you are another me. Whoever you're like manifesting in your life right now is the perfect reflection, is some part of you you are seeking to get closer to know more about, to expand, right? Live from expansion. So when we can do that and we stop being like us and them, judgmental, like some people have just like gone out of our lives. And that's part of us too, but that maybe is part of us we're done learning about. We're done looking at. There's other things popping in your life now. Some of them are new, some of them are repeats, some of them are old. But those have something to do with the you that's coming forth now. So to live from expansion is, again, to step into the heart, to come into the now. Trust that who's in your life now is purposeful, right? Because this is in the mental sphere, we are releasing the concept of us and them relationship. Even though we've just entered Libra season, it is always a self relationship. It's a relationship with self. So is this being in your life a part of you you're ready to get to know? You're ready to expand into? I mean, if it's there, there's something there for you. So let's look at the emotional component. For Sagittarians, what's the emotional component coming up? There it is. From the Qi Vesta, card 18. So 1 and 8 is a 9. We had an 18 here. So this is another 18. This one looks like an equation. And the concept, Lemurian, is Astanok Miset Valasvi, and it means beneficial outcomes. You know, Gemini got this. I always recommend listening to your opposite sign because it does tell you kind of a flip side of that week's reading. Because really the zodiac's just 12 signs with each one having their heads and tails, right? 2 sides. I've got 2 kids, Taurus and Scorpio. They are like complete opposites. So I really see the value in looking at both sides. And I have strong Gemini and Sagittarius in my chart. I'm a Gemini rising, and I've got Sun and Neptune and North Node and Mercury all in Sagittarius in my 7th house. So those 2 really are playing off each other. So that means my South Node in Gemini at my rising sign. But emotionally it's saying we hesitate to act before we can ensure beneficial outcomes, but all outcomes are ultimately beneficial in the benevolence of the infinite. So again, from a higher perspective, from an expanded perspective, when we live from expansion, when we step off the linear time wheel and think about just things one up to the other, and we look at the bigger picture, there's a reason for everything. And ultimately everything becomes something that, if we look back on with the right lens, is beneficial. So Sagittarius, there might be some things in your past that you've been really seeing as a downer or a bummer, or you wish didn't happen. But from a larger vantage point, which you're really good at being the visionary of the zodiac and being the sage. It is saying, like, look how this is beneficial to you, to them, to the situation. You will find that there is positivity there. This is doing some shadow work, right, emotionally. So these are emotions, like what bad emotions or negative emotions have you been really resisting or wanting to get over, wish you didn't have? What if you looked at them as beneficial? Like, how are they benefiting you? Have they pushed you into a creative cave so that you are birthing creations? Have they made you more independent so that you can come from a place that's not codependent, but now interdependent? I'll talk about that in my relationship videos. This is the spiritual deck now. Qi Vesta number 17, which is an 8. So now I have the infinity. Lihar Nananustrava, becoming self-referring for approval. Becoming self-referring for approval. This is really helpful to any of the codependents out there looking to be more independent, interdependent. Becoming self-referring for approval. This says propriety is nothing more than another's values censoring our actions. Let freedom from concern over others' judgments and opinions be a conscious decision. So it's not about other people's values that you have to act to conform to. It's about your authenticity. Sagittarius this week is saying, let freedom from concern. So if you've been concerned over what are other people thinking and you're letting that lead your action, I mean, that's keeping you on linear time, right? Because it's like what they said, I'm afraid what they're going to do and what they're going to think, and that's all linear, right? So when we come home to the heart, we recognize we're the door of everything and we have freedom and we trust the unfolding expression that it's beneficial. We can really like move through whatever's up for you this week, Sagittarius. And it does feel like, you know, expanding that sense of home in yourself and freeing yourself from other people's opinions and judgments is really high on the table. So my embodiment practice would be with this, if you want to take that on, is to write down everything that you think in a list was bad or you wish didn't happen in your past, and go through each one and look at what the positive coming of that thing was. Like, what did that create that was positive? How did that help me to grow in a positive way? How did that bless me? How was that perfect for me? And to go through each one until you can like basically let that list go and come back home to the here and now. And again, keep repeating, I am at home in myself. Okay, Sagittarians, I love you. I'm grateful you're here. We'll use random decks each week, so I hope you'll join me again next week for your weekly reading. Until then, make sure you check out all the other content on this channel. There's a lot on non-reading days. I'm talking about the archetypes of the tarot, divine union, whatever spontaneous thing that comes through. There's tons of embodiment practices on this channel supporting you in your life force awakening, your conscious awakening, your self-realization journey. It's an honor to be here with you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like, share the channel. I appreciate it. Comments do also help with the algorithm, so even just giving me a heart or a thumbs up or a thanks, I really appreciate it. And if you want your own personal session, information is below. Readings are always done on a by donation basis, and I look forward to meeting you in person and supporting you in your journey. Much love. Namaste.